Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. It is 24 minutes after the hour. Our guest today is Henry Makow, and he is the author of Illuminati, the Cult That Hijacked the World, and the book Illuminati 2, Deceit and Seduction, talking about the world events that are staged and managed by those that hold the purse strings. And nothing could be truer. We know that. We just don't know how much fraud there is around us. It's 24 minutes after the hour, and we're really glad that you're joining us today. And, Henry, I would like to talk to you about some of the events maybe we're not aware of that you cover in your books, Illuminati and Illuminati 2, going back to the time that you perhaps first realized that there was a fraud when we didn't even think so. You know, we're watching Ozzie and Harriet and thinking everything is a great life and not realizing what we're watching is a stage.
Well, you know, the most important event of the 20th century was the Second World War. And the Second World War was contrived. See, the big picture is that the Illuminati bankers are a relatively small number of people. And so what they have to do is get us to have wars and destroy ourselves, because this way they sort of cut us down to size where they can better control us, and establish their one world government. So they basically, all of their efforts are geared to destroying nations, religion, family, and race. Those are the four pillars of our identity. That's where we gain our strength from. And so everything they do is designed to destroy those four pillars of our identity. Now, the purpose of war is to demoralize us, and that goes along, and to destroy us, literally. That goes a long way to destroying those four pillars we're talking about. So if we focus on World War II, these Illuminati bankers, they essentially financed Hitler indirectly. I mean, they put him into power, but the way they work is sort of at arm's length. Their puppets seem to have a lot of freedom. In any case, they financed Hitler, but the real giveaway about the Second World War is that Hitler, the secretary of the and treasurer of the Nazi Party, and the deputy Führer, Martin Bormann. I have three articles, or two articles in my books about how Bormann, it has literally come out that he was a Soviet spy. Now, do you realize what this means? Bormann signed Hitler's paycheck. He signed the paycheck of all the leading Nazis. He basically was Hitler's right-hand man. And in my books, I talk about research, a particular book called Hitler's Traitor by Louis Kilzer, which proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Bormann was a Soviet spy. That means the whole Nazi enterprise was compromised at the very top. And in those articles, I show how Bormann's decisions and his influence had a disastrous effect on the Nazi war effort, and how many leading Nazis suspected Bormann of being a spy, as turned out to be. So now the question is, was Hitler in on this with Bormann?
Right.
I wasn't sure of that until I read a book by Reinhard Gehlen, who was the head of Nazi intelligence on the Eastern Front. And he said that he and Admiral Canaris, who was the head of the Abwehr, suspected that there was a spy because the Russians had information instantaneously, key information about German moves on the Eastern Front. And then they actually discovered a radio beaming out of Berlin, which is essentially which Bormann was running, And Bormann was beaming this information right to Moscow Center, KGB, Moscow Center. And Bormann and Galen and Canaris, they essentially went to Hitler and said, look, this is what Bormann's doing. Hitler covered up for Bormann. He said, Bormann's just playing a game. He's just giving false information to the Russians.
Okay, we got to take a break. It's 29 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a 3-minute break. We will be back with our guest today, Henry Makow. Stay tuned to the Power Hour. Dr. Henry Makow is our guest today. We'll be right back. 3 minutes. Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for caring about your world. Please take advantage of purchasing from the Power Mall. Buy from the good guys. Every dollar you spend is a vote. That's right. So think about it. When you spend $1, please make sure it goes to the good guys. Whatever you consider to be the good guys. And we want to thank you for purchasing Willard Water, Super Silver, Hallelujah Acres items, BioGreen Clean on special at the Power Hour now, so you can take advantage of getting them now. Natural Remedies Encyclopedia, it's $79.99 on special. That book is 1,200 pages. 1,200 pages. We got lots of specials at the Power Hour, including Miracle 2, 20% off. Take advantage of that. Of course, the books with Henry Makow, and they are on sale for $17.50 each. That's Illuminati, The Cult That Hijacked the World, and Illuminati 2, Deceit and Seduction. Please take advantage of getting those. We're talking to Dr. Henry Makow today, and he says that we're referring to Nazi Germany, that Martin Bormann was a Soviet Illuminati agent, that whether or not Hitler was co-opted or not, it seems pretty obvious that he was. Interestingly enough, Martin Bormann, he gives him credit, Dr. Makow gives him credit for setting up 750 corporations in neutral countries. Pretty powerful guy. But you're saying that Bormann and Hitler were compromised by the Soviets at that time.
Well, Bormann was an active communist agent, and I wasn't sure whether Hitler was a conscious agent of the Illuminati, but to me the giveaway was this information I encountered in Reinhard Gellen's book, published in 1972. The book is called The Service, and essentially the Germans discovered a unsupervised radio transmitter network that was sending coded messages from Berlin to Moscow, and it was run by Bormann and his associates. And when they demanded an investigation, word came back from Hitler himself that Hitler forbade any intervention, that he had been informed in advance of this transmitter, and they were fake messages, and he had approved of them. Now, the fact is the highest secrets were being leaked, and this is how they were being done, and Hitler basically confirmed that they would continue to be leaked, so claiming that they were false, but they weren't. So to me, this means that Hitler was also a traitor to the cause, and this is the way the Illuminati work. It's called false opposition. You've all heard about it. They essentially, that Lenin said the best way to stop the opposition is to lead the opposition, and so many of the things that Hitler may have said might have been valid, but that was only to suck people in, and to cause a war, and that's, I don't think any war has caused more destruction, needless destruction, than the Second World War. But this pattern is continuing, like this war in Afghanistan. Who do you think is supporting the Taliban? Mm-hmm. It's Illuminati bankers. You can't have a war unless you have two sides. They're supporting the Taliban through the Pakistani ISI. So So all these wars are totally contrived in order to milk us dry, get us further in debt so that we become their debt slaves, because and the world becomes one big debt prison.